Hello everyone. This is Tobi from the Phuket Meditation Center, and you're listening to the Dharana Meditation Podcast. Let's sit together, calm the busy mind, and explore topics concerning character development, meditative training, and deeper self-knowledge. We start by sitting upright. The head is suspended from above. Allow your body to gradually relax and become still. Maintain this good balance between uprightness and relaxation, kind of like as if your skeleton was hanging from the ceiling, suspended by the crown, and the flesh, the soft tissue, is melting, following the pull of gravity. Breathe in a way that feels nice, that feels fulfilling, refreshing. And whatever that means for you. We're not forcing or squeezing the breath in any way. Instead, let it be the way it feels best. It may be fast, maybe irregular, maybe regular and peaceful. No matter how your breath is, make sure it's comfortable. Gently smile a bit with your lips, your eyes. Perceive yourself with kindness, with compassion. Allow yourself in this moment to simply be. Whatever experience that you're having, whether pleasant or unpleasant, allow it to be just like this. letting go of the pressure of having to be a certain way. Letting go of fault-finding, criticizing, judging yourself this moment. Just opening your heart to the truth of the way things are. Breathing in, feeling your legs. Breathing out, softening the legs. Gradually saturating your legs with consciousness. Gradually finding more and more space through letting go. Letting go of all this tension that's not necessary. Breathing in, feeling your belly. And breathing out, softening, releasing the belly. Same principle, saturating the belly with consciousness and releasing, softening, letting go. And breathing in, feeling your heart, your chest. And breathing out, softening, releasing your heart, your chest. Notice how each time when you let go a little, it feels a bit better. And that's nice. Instead of sending your mind out to find fault, to criticize, to see what's not yet good enough, see what's nice, what you enjoy. Breathing in, feeling your arms and your shoulders. Breathing out, softening, releasing arms and shoulders. All that matters is just this one breath. You can think of this one breath as one session of meditation. Feeling on the in-breath, releasing on the out-breath. And that's something nice. Breathing in, feeling your head, the brain, the eyes, the jaws. And breathing out, releasing, softening through your head. Now just let go of a little bit of tension as you breathe out. And notice that it makes things a little bit better. In fact, each time when you let go, when you release, everything gets a little bit better. That shows you that's the right direction. And each time when you're holding, you're tense, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good. Breathing in, feeling the entire body. And breathing out, softening, releasing through the whole body. If you like, you can even think of your whole body as being made out of breath. And just let the mind rest in this feeling of bodiness, this field of aliveness. Let the mind and feeling and the body stay connected. But it's not only the aliveness in your own body, but also the aliveness that surrounds you, the various sounds. Just sitting with that aliveness. Not giving it any particular labels like good or bad. Just experiencing everything as movement, as energy. Yes, as life. Every time you notice that you're getting carried away into the future or the past, just gently come back, releasing tension, softening back into presence. The more you're coming into presence, the more unimportant thoughts should become. Words, the narrative, the commentary fades into the background. And this will happen if you're more interested in life than the story about life that you have been telling yourself for so long. Once your mind is more silent, you can rest your awareness with the breathing. Breathing in, simply knowing that you're breathing in. Breathing out, simply knowing that you're breathing out. So we aim to keep the breath in mind, to not forget it. In the beginning, you want to avoid forcing yourself onto the breath. Instead, just loosely keep it in mind. Remain close by. Try to not completely forget it. Just knowing this one breath. One breath equals one meditation session. Following the in-breath all the way from its first moment to its last. Well, same with the out-breath. And in your own time, you can slowly return. You can open your eyes. Slowly stretch your body a little bit if you like. Good morning, everyone. Good to have you. So, today, I thought it might be a good idea to talk a little bit more on some of the things that are important, especially if you just start out with your practice, if you just begin. Last time we've covered purpose and frequency, meaning that you have a certain rhythm in your practice, which is governed by a sense of purpose. You know why you're doing it, what you're doing it for. You understand the benefits. You understand the downfalls of not doing it. Understanding the purpose of meditation, but not just understanding it intellectually, of course, understanding it with your feeling, understanding it on a much more deep, tangible level. It's got to become something that's very practical for you. Try to avoid remaining in these lofty intellectual realms. Today, I'd cover something that I've covered before, but it's so crucial, so important, that I think it's certainly beneficial to talk about it again and again, because then it really is something you will take home with yourself, and it will burn itself into your heart, and you will remember it as something that is essential and vital, which is the practice of learning to sit still. For most beginners these days, what I've observed is they jump into very deep kind of concepts, very abstract concepts often of meditation, stilling the mind and clear your head, don't think of anything and so on. They sit down and they might have all these amazing ideas about emptiness and about not self and all that kind of things, but really within the body, it's where it should begin. It's the most practical instrument we have. So you want to start by working a lot with your body. Before you can really access the mind in a meaningful way, you first have to open up the body, first have to learn how to be comfortable in your own skin. And so the practice of sitting still should come first. When it's about really sitting down on the mat and getting your practice started, that's the very first thing you should be concerned with. And there's multiple benefits to learning how to sit still. One, you train one of the functions of the mind which is required in meditation practice, which is your will, your intention. In order to remain still for a while, you have to will yourself to sit still. You have to force yourself in a way to sit still.
You can't just follow every little impulse that comes along. In other words, don't be like a leaf in the wind. When the wind blows left, you go left. If it blows right, you go right. That is the definition of having no strength. You have no mental strength. That's what that means. It's a very basic concept. Building power in your mind, in your personality. You do that via the body, via sitting still. In the beginning, I recommend you to start out with relatively short sessions. But always make sure you're pushing the envelope. You're always leaning in to the discomfort a little bit. You won't learn how to sit still for a longer time, such as an hour or 2 hours, if you can't start with the first step. And maybe your first step is at 5 minutes, say. Maybe you can sit still for 5 minutes before you start fidgeting, before you just can't keep yourself from reacting to your nervous system. Okay, if that's the case, then start out with 5 minutes, do it for a week. Then add on 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Just keep pushing. And yes, it will be difficult, but that's also the point. When you confront yourself with something that is difficult but good, then you will build self-respect naturally. That's the key to building self-respect, is this combination of doing something that's hard and good. Good for yourself, good for others. But hard, not easy. So sitting still with good posture is hard. There's no doubt about it. It's in fact one of the hardest things you can do is to learn to really properly stop reacting to everything that comes along. So you become more equanimous over time. You learn that it's okay to feel. Because the problem that you are faced with is feeling, isn't it? You sit still, and then what's the problem with sitting still? Well, you have a lot of feeling in your body. Intense feeling. What's the problem with feeling? Why are we so afraid to feel? If feeling is life, it's almost as if people were afraid of life. I mean, what else is it? Is it not energy that you're feeling? It's funny, some people, they say, oh, everything is energy, we're all one. But then when they sit down in their meditation, they're fidgeting every minute. That's an example of high-minded talk, but totally not embodied. It's not embodied, it means it's not practical, it's not real. What's more real than the body on our level? It's very real. Much less is the realm of the mind and the realm of ideas. That's much less real. It's much less stable. The body is much more reliable. It's much more lasting. So you can actually work with it. And you can use it as a gauge to see, well, am I actually at peace or not? Very good question to ask yourself. This is your mirror of meditation. That's what I call it. You sit down. Are you comfortable? How about 15 minutes? How about 30 minutes? How about an hour? Are you comfortable within yourself? Or not? Your body will speak, and it speaks with no lies. It speaks with complete honesty. Your nervous system doesn't deceive you. Your mind does. Your mind will tell you all kinds of stories. But your nerves, they don't lie. Are you nervous? Are you frustrated? Are you heating up while you're sitting in meditation and you can't wait for the bell? Are you fidgeting around? Is it like, is it hard to sit still? Well, there you go. You're not at peace, period. It's easy to delude ourselves. The mind will say, oh yeah, that's just the body, but I'm actually at peace. No, how do you really differentiate the body from the mind? In the same breath, those people would say, body and mind are one. But then they also say, yeah, my body is fidgeting, but my mind is at peace. Of course. If your mind is truly at peace, it'll be reflected in your body. It's that simple. That's why skilled meditators throughout the ages, they are looking at the body of people who claim that they are good at meditation. This is the first way to tell if somebody is doing a good job, yes or no. How still do they become? Some people can become eerily still. It's like you're wondering whether they are still alive or not. You don't even see breathing. Nothing. They're just completely still. We've been in Chiangdao. It's just a bit north of Chiang Mai for a retreat there last year. And went up to one of the temples. And there was a monk just sitting in the corner in meditation. He was extremely still, like people just kept missing him. My friend just went very close to him. There were some booklets next to the monk. And he was just talking with us, like normal talking, and just going to this monk standing in front of him, grabbing the booklets, didn't notice the monk sitting right in front of him. That type of stillness that makes you almost disappear. That's very still. So obviously, this monk knew something about meditation. It's well embodied. Yes. It's a sign of comfort. The less we move, the more happy you are. Also, it's another sign. If you move, the more you move, the less happy you are, quite obviously. When the inner movement becomes so much that it starts expressing itself in your body, and you start like to, move all the time because you can't be still. It shows you're not at peace within yourself. You're not feeling good. Have you ever felt so good you didn't want to move because you were afraid that if I move, it'll destroy this good feeling? That's exactly that. It's like any movement, any noise would perhaps destroy this beautiful state I'm in. I'd rather not move at all. I've noticed the more comfortable I become, the more happy I am, the less I want to move. The less I feel the body, the less I feel the mind, the less content becomes more and more irrelevant with contentment. How do we train it? There's no way around it, training yourself to sit still. The first major goal should be being able to sit still for an hour. Now you can ask yourself, have you reached that yet? Some people come here quite often and they ask, do you have any tips? What should I do? Do that. And come back when you can sit still regularly for 1 hour. Then you get the next instruction. First of all, then I see, okay, this person really wants this. It's not just about satisfying some intellectual curiosity. It's about actually wanting this. They make the effort necessary to bring themselves to sitting still for 1 hour. But they do everything what it takes, They watch the YouTube videos on how to open your hips, how to strengthen your back, how to develop your core, how to develop your glutes, how to stretch, and so on and so forth, so I can sit better. They try out different cushions. They do this all by themselves, almost. Because they want to be able to sit for 1 hour. They know this is the first goal, first step. If you can sit still for an hour, then you have a solid basis for good meditation practice. You've got a real chance of going actually deeply into it. So that should be first on your list. Perhaps you're not even able yet to sit still for half an hour. Then make that your first milestone. half an hour. Something to work towards. Something to get better at over time. There's more benefits to sitting still. One is the loss of reactivity. You become more calm, less reactive, less jumpy in your character. More calm, more composed, more centered, more grounded, and more energized over time. Stillness is the root cause of energy. If you want to build energy within yourself, stillness is the way to go. Stillness in the body, and of course, eventually, stillness in the mind. So when the mind really settles down, then energy starts to build. When the body really settles down, energy starts to build, naturally. Because you're not spending it. Normally you breathe in, you breathe out, you're digesting food, you're building energy that way, but you're immediately also spending it. You're spending it for emotions, spending it for thinking, spending it for moving around. If you stop moving around, you're not spending there. If you release unnecessary tension within that not moving around, you're not spending anything else anymore. If you release energy in the mind, if you release the mind, and the mind becomes more and more empty, there you go. You're not spending energy, and it's tremendous amounts of energy that are liberated when you practice that way. The body is like a glass, the mind is like water. If you pour it into the glass, if you move the glass, the water moves. It's another reason why we need to practice stillness in the body. The more still you become, the more the body disappears also. Something that is still disappears. If your attention is still on one point, vision disappears, for example. If you're just looking at one point, and your attention is not budging, gradually, slowly, vision will disappear. You'll stop seeing. Same goes for your ears. If you focus on just one single sound, everything will gradually disappear. If your body doesn't move, everything will gradually disappear. Your body will disappear. A little tip for those of you who can't sleep at night. What do you do when you can't sleep? You toss and you turn, right? What's that? Moving. If you want to fall asleep, don't move. It's the worst thing you can do is move. Turn from left to the right, seeking comfort. Stop moving. Lay in bed completely still. Tell yourself, I'm going to meditate now. Okay, I can't sleep. Wonderful. That's great. So now I'm going to use the time to build mental skill. So you build your meditative skill. Simple as that. And how do you do it? Breathe in, feel your body, breathe out, release. Breathe in, feel, breathe out, release. Don't move. Stay focused. Be mindful. Don't fall asleep. Do your meditation. Then you fall asleep in no time. Because you don't want to. If you want to fall asleep, your mind is agitated already. How can an agitated mind fall asleep? It isn't rested. Yes? All right. So there's many such benefits to learning not to move. However, the very first one is it creates a solid basis for good practice, real practice. Now, of course, then we need to do more. We need to add on the right techniques so that you become more calm. But with the calming of the nervous system, it's not just sitting still. It's sitting still while relaxing. That's important too. I need to mention that. You don't want to be just sitting still, hoping that the bell will ring any moment, and then you can move again. That's silly. Why would anyone train that? You do 20 years of that, you just get really good at waiting for the bell to ring. And you may be able to sit perfectly still. To the outside world, you're looking impressive. Okay, it's a good meditator. But you know you're not. You're just agitated in the mind, so that's important to then deal with next. And we deal with it by beginning to release tension through the tissues, then through the nervous system, through the emotional body. Keep releasing, keep relaxing. It's an entire path in itself. Just releasing tension. You can make that your path in life. Your meditative training, release tension. Okay, you will find that there's plenty of tension in the body, so you begin by releasing that again and again and again and again until you do it with each and every breath. You just keep dropping tension through the body over and over again. As you do that, you'll begin to notice what is underlying that tension is emotional activity. So it's this emotional feeling of frustrations and waiting and so on and so forth. There's plenty of emotional energy behind what makes the body tense. When you release the tension in the body, that becomes more obvious. That's what you release the next. It's a more subtle layer of the body. Same body still dealing with the body. So you're releasing this emotional tension. You keep releasing. Eventually you will find what's underneath that. And underneath this emotional tension, you have mental, ideological tension. The stuff that's the belief systems that are underneath that emotional tension. They themselves are hard to grasp because you don't really feel them. But you know them. And then you begin to release them. So your mind becomes more and more empty, more and more spacious. That's how you go from the body, the most coarse layers of your body, all the way down to the most subtle layers of the mind, and you just keep releasing whatever comes up. It's a perfect way. Just releasing. You can do only that. Some people think, it's just stage 1. Breathe in, feel the body, breathe out, release. When can I go to stage 2? Well, obviously, you're not released yet. If you were, you would enjoy it so much. There's no need to go to stage 2. And what would that mean? You're already in stage 2. Because you're already present. You don't want to go into the future to the next thing, the next stage. You're just totally at ease and relaxed. So automatically you end up in stage 2. That's how it works. And then you release more and more. You become more and more present, more and more fascinated and content with this moment. You automatically end up in stage 3. Everything becomes very silent. Your mind stops talking. There's no reason for it to. The mind will stop talking when you cease interest in what it talks about. If you're not interested in the inner voice, it will stop. You simply have to understand it for what it is. It's just nerves firing. Let them fire. I don't get upset about liver activity. Why would I get upset about brain activity? Just let it do its thing. Stop caring about it. As long as you care about it, my mind is so full of thoughts, I don't like it, when will it stop? You're very interested in it, then it will not stop. It'll just keep going by definition. If you want your mind to stop talking, stop being interested in it. And so on and so forth. It's all release. And what you want to do is you release into the correct shape. You're not just releasing. Just releasing would mean I do whatever I want right now. What I don't want to do, I don't do it. I just let go of fighting and resisting. I just do what comes natural. That's incorrect. It's not the right shape, not the right vessel. That just simply means you're following your preferences. You're not released. Releasing means doing what is good for you. That's the shape. Stop doing what's bad for you. And within that shape, relax. That's correct training. So you have that mirrored everywhere, that stillness, the shape, the form into which you surrender. It means you are basically working yourself up to the path. You're not pulling the path down onto your level. You need to raise up to the path. A lot of us tend to do is to pull the path down to dumb it down to our own level. What the Buddha meant, it was just psychological, for example. That's dumbing down the Buddhist path to my own understanding. It's just psychological, it's symbolic. The Buddha didn't actually perform miracles, or Jesus didn't actually turn water into wine. That's just symbolic. Yeah, all right. That's an example of dumbing down something so I can understand it with my limited capacities. I will make sense of it. And when I make sense of it, then I can understand it. Then I don't have to raise up. I just pull Jesus down to me. That's incorrect. You don't want to pull God into your mud. You want to raise up to the divine. That's why the lotus flower is such a popular symbol, right? It raises up out of the mud and remains unstained, and it strives to go to the light. There's a striving. It's really important to strive. You need to be the right vessel and then move up. While you're moving up, it's really uncomfortable. Change is always quite uncomfortable. You need to learn to relax through it. Start with this little practice, okay, and just in your daily life. Every day decide upon one thing that would be really good for you to do, but that's difficult to do. Then do it. While you're doing it, relax. You don't want to do it still. And relax. Yeah, but I could do something else and it would be so many... Relax. Drop your mind, drop your attention. Just do the thing that you said would be good for yourself and others. Or don't do one thing that you like to do that's bad for you. Same thing. Sit still and relax. Follow what's right and relax. Okay? All right then. That's perhaps enough for today.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and had a meaningful time. For more information and upcoming events, head over to our website at phuket-meditation.com. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful day.